Hello everybody and welcome to Pokemon Through the Years, the start of Generation 2. I've got a little bit of a thing to clear up with you guys because I have a box full of Pokemon waiting for me in the Pokemon Center. And the thing is, I could just make a 6-person team right at the bat. And what I'm going to try to do is, whatever happens at the moment I get my starter, I'm going to keep my starter in the team for at least a little while. I'm not going to just immediately switch it out unless it's something that's actually useless. Because I want to have a couple of different kinds of Pokemon here. All the Pokemon we had, they're still going to be in backup. And we're still going to be able to use them. But I kind of want those to be the secondary Pokemon we've had. I mean, we've had some time with them. They've been the stars of the team. And I want to have new Pokemon rise up and join the revolution. So I'm not going to fill up my entire team at once with those Pokemon. I'm sure over the period, next couple of episodes, we're going to use a couple of them and switch them in and out and all that kind of good stuff. They're there to be used, right? They're not there just to be trophies. 6 of them are trophies because they have been changed into being shiny. More on that later. But at the time, I'm going to just assume that we don't have any Pokemon in the box. Especially for the first one. Now, if we end up catching a couple more Pokemon and they don't actually synergize that well, I might switch out 1 or 2 Pokemon. But I'm only going to be switching out Pokemon once I've actually captured more than 2 or 3. I'm gonna say. So, and even then I'm probably not going to switch them all out. But if I now get a fire type for my starter, and I only run into 2 other fire types, and I have 3 fire types on my team, I'm probably going to switch out at least 1 of those fire types for a water type, for instance, or a grass type. Probably a grass type, because if I run into a water type, I can... You get the point. I also did some testing to make sure that the Pokemon actually are in the box. I have a save state where they are in the box, but I have a different starter. I re-randomized the entire ROM after doing that because I had to check what the starters are, or at least pick a starter to test whether or not they were in the box. So I re-randomized everything that could actually end up breaking some things. We'll see as we go along. This is a new Pokemon though. This was not here before. It's a Golem. Okay, I think I know what my starter is going to be already, but let's actually just check the other 2 first. It's a Machoke. I don't think we've had a Machoke in this series yet. I should check the list of the Pokemon. I just did all of the Pokegening to put them into Gen 2, and there's no Machoke alive. Is there a dead Machoke, or Machop, or Machamp? I don't think there is. So we could be seeing the return of Tien here, or Macargo, which is a fire type, funnily enough. That's 3 very good Pokemon. Let me think about that. I think I want Tien. I think this is the return of Tien. Honestly. Yeah, let's go with Tien. Just because there's not a lot of fighting types. There's also not a lot of rock types, admittedly. But there's a shit ton of fire types, comparatively to these 2, right? Well, I don't want to say a shit ton, but there's a fair amount. And I already have some, and I don't really have a good fighting type. I have Hitmonchan, but that was an issue last generation. We didn't have a good fighting type, and while the rest of our team was very well synergized to make up for that weakness, having actually a fighting type here is going to make potentially a bit of difference. So welcome back Tien to the team. Last time you were on the team, you were the only thing to survive at the end of the game. So hopefully that means you're the only thing to survive at the end of the entire series, all the way in Gen 8. Or Gen 7, still not entirely sure about that. Not that you will be the last thing surviving after beating Ren, because I'd like to go into Gen 3 with more than 1 Pokemon. If it has to be that way, it has to be that way. One more thing is there is a number of Pokemon in this generation which evolve via trait item. And I don't know how that works. In Discord, people told me that Slowbro evolves using a Water Stone. And I'm inclined to believe that, but I don't know how that would work for things like Sizzle. or Steelix, right? Because you can't give them like a Leaf Stone. Just use the Metal Coat on them. There's no programming for that, I don't think. This doesn't count yet. We don't have Pokeballs yet. Any encounter we probably run it through this entire episode is not going to really count, I want to say. So just bear with me here. We're going to be catching a lot of Pokemon when we get Pokeballs because, oh my god, Alakid. I like Alakid, I don't know why. I like a lot of Gen 2 Pokemon, and now that they're actually like available to me, I'm probably going to have a lot of fun with them. And that is another reason I don't want to use too much of the team from the previous generation right away anyway, because I want to have some opportunity to, one, create more like characters and more adventures, right? But I also want opportunities to use some Generation 2 Pokemon, because while Generation 3 was the first game I played, Gen 2 was really the time when I started getting into Pokemon, like the TV show, or the anime I should call it these days. As a kid, it was just a cartoon, a TV show, right? So I think like Alakid and Togepi, while they are very like not good Pokemon, and I'm aware, I do really like, there's a very large hit of nostalgia seeing them. And somehow that hit of nostalgia hits stronger with these games than it does seeing the same Pokemon in the newer games. I don't exactly know why that is, to be honest. Anyway, so let's actually check the box here to be 300% sure that we have all the Pokemon that are supposed to be in it, and we actually have pictures of them now, which is amazing. You can't see they're shiny, but we've got Spaghetti, and Ariel, and Bith, and Nick, and Flog, and Zim, and that's box 2. Change box, back to box 1. Yeah, it's more than one box. Also, boxes in this generation are only 20 Pokemon, for whatever fucking reason. So, let's just save over that real quickly. And then we also have Blaze and Fred and Destroyer and Wumbo and Mickey, and this should have been a Pichu. My mistake. And Big D and Razor and Venom and Aspirin and Laura and N64 and Thanos and Polty and Naga and Zone and Olaf and Shelly and Z's and Lee and Big H, and that was it. Which one of these was on the final team? Zone was on the final team. We can look at the stats and we can see that you are in fact a shiny, this is a very bad example of a shiny, because this is a better example. You see, this one is shiny. It didn't want to withdraw you actually. Let's put you back right away. You're holding an item? Do all the Pokemon have random items as well? I might have, like, fucked up the randomization there. But yeah, so the 6 Pokemon that were with us at the end of the last generation are now shiny Pokemon. Just so that you know that. Let's see, what do you hold? Item, take, a berry. Does your starter always have a berry? Actually, let's give that to Tien, because Tien might actually be able to use it somewhere. Especially since we're not very powerful yet, I'm going to assume that that's going to come in handy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Mr. Pokemon, do that entire thing, and then I'm not entirely sure yet what I want to do with the egg. Because usually you'd say, where do you count the egg, right? Do you count the egg in the place you got the egg? Or do you count it as an encounter for the place you hatch it? Or is it just a free encounter? Also, what are the odds of running into a Sentret here? Usually fairly high, but with a randomizer, and weird cadence, with a randomizer, what are those odds? Hello, Big H! Which I should have called you Bertha, by the way. Or the other way around. I think I got the Rhydon in Showdown after I got it in through the years, I want to say. So definitely that should have been Big H. But for some reason I just figured let's go with Bertha. And Bertha is a way better name than Big H. So any Rhydons in the future we're going to get, which isn't going to be like anytime soon, obviously, because Pokemon 3D is going to last fucking forever. They're going to be Bertha. So we now have the mystery egg. I'm going to speed through this like whole dialogue part because it doesn't really matter at all. I'm sorry if that's like not very friendly to your eardrums, but they're called eardrums, right? Why am I questioning this kind of like basic stuff? So this route only has Sandred and Raiden, I feel like. So we're going to get a Sandred here, which... Don't know how big of a fan I am of that, to be honest. I don't really like Third. I was going to say Lanoon. I like Lanoon. Especially Galarian Lanoon. It's probably my least favorite out of the evolutionary line, to be honest. Now that we have Obstagoon as well, I kind of like Obstagoon. I don't know if that's a popular opinion. I think it is. I think a lot of people tend to like Obstagoon, but Galarian Zigzagoon is like actual perfection. I very much like Galarian Zigzagoon, and I really, really hope that I get one in Showdown. I very much doubt it because we're getting close-ish to probably the end of Season 1, and I'm going to take a little bit of a break after Season 1. So we might not get it, but hey, it's a random thing. So we could get anything in that evolutionary line, and it's like 3 Pokemon in that line, and there's only like 400 Pokemon, so that's like a 1% chance, which actually is very, very low now that I think about it. You know what the best part about Gen 1 is? Gen 2 is, I mean. We still don't have Pokeballs. We don't get Pokeballs until getting back to the lab, I don't think. I'm going to check to be sure, but that means that the upcoming rival battle, whatever it is, doesn't count for the Nuzlocke yet. We do not have Pokeballs, do we? No, we don't. So we're allowed to lose the upcoming fight. I'd rather not because it's a good amount of experience, obviously, but we are allowed to lose it if need be. We do have enough time in this episode today probably to go around catching at least like 2 or 3 Pokemon. And I don't think I've mentioned, I might not have, I don't remember, how I'm going to deal with the whole backup box of Pokemon. I'm going to not, as I said, switching out right away. Tien is just going to be our starter, and we're going to keep... wow, that's a lot of moves for a level 5 Pokemon. We're going to keep Tien on the team for quite a while. But if I figure like a couple Pokemon in, I can start switching around if I want to, right? So the way I'm going to do that is... That's a lot of damage, and I'm very happy to have that berry, even though this is not technically the Nuzlocke yet. So I cannot add Pokemon into empty slots, at least not until I get like a full team, right? So after I catch 1 Pokemon, I can start switching the 2nd slot out. Now, when I get a 3rd, I can start switching the 3rd slot out, whatever I want. I just can't take anything from the box into an empty slot. How does that work when we have Pokemon die? I'd argue that that's not an empty slot, that's a dead Pokemon slot I'd be switching out. So, that pretty much means that we will never have a slot be empty once we capture something until, like, probably Gen 3 or 4. I'm going to say Gen 4. I think I can make it through Gen 3 without too much in the way of casualties. The same with Gen 2, honestly. Gen 2 is not that difficult of a generation. Some things in Kanto might be a bit tricky because they require a bit of grinding, which I don't want to do too much of. But honestly, Gen 2 is not that difficult, neither is Gen 3. Then we get to Platinum, which is notorious for being one of the most difficult games to Nuzlocke in the mainline series. At least it was back when I did a lot of Nuzlockes, before I took my very long hiatus. The rival's name, we're going to call you... Bird. And if I remember, in the next generation, we'll call you Ernie. Because I'm creative and original like that. So, again, I'm going to just speed through this a little bit, because I don't really care. I want to get to catching Pokemon. You do give me... I know it doesn't sound very pleasant. You do give me Pokeballs, don't you? I've got 5 Pokeballs now, so officially the Nuzlocke has now started. And the first thing we run into on Route 29, and I'm very glad that this game actually adds the fuck off. Actually adds the little title card so that I know when I'm in a new route. And I don't have to go to Bulbapedia. Or Cerebi, or whatever, right? So, we get an Oddish, which... I don't think we've had an Oddish yet. Again, I should probably just like... I've got the list of the Pokemon here. But they're not in Pokédex order, so I probably should put them in Pokédex order. Or alphabetical order, that's a lot easier to I probably will do it in alphabetical order. But I'll do that between recording sessions. I'm not going to do that right now. For right now, I'm going to assume that we haven't had an Oddish yet. I can't remember having an Oddish. I would have remembered having an Oddish, because Oddish may... We're not getting an Oddish! Because min-maxing just fucking screwed my ass. Yeah, that wasn't very good. Also, a thing I just literally now realized is that all the Pokemon from Gen 1, I didn't just create them in PokeGen or PokeHacks, as it's called. It's a way better version of PokeGen. It works with literally every generation up until Gen 8, apparently. So, I didn't just recreate the Pokemon. I literally saved the Pokemon from Gen 1 and imported them into the Gen 2 save file. So we need to remember that we can't catch a Pokemon when we go back here after defeating the 8th gym, but we'll probably be fine. That's a Cyndaquil! I like it! Don't kill the Cyndaquil. If you kill the Cyndaquil, I will switch you the... I won't switch you out because I just said I wouldn't. But I'm mildly upset that you killed a Cyndaquil. You killed a fucking Cyndaquil, you son of a bitch. So they are literally the same Pokemon, but that also means they have the trainer ID of my Pokemon Yellow character, which means that they're going to get more experience, which actually kind of just benefits me, because that means I have to do less grinding. And they'll maybe get like a level or two more during the recording of the episodes themselves. Early on, it's going to make much more of a difference than later on in the game. But it also means that they're probably not going to listen to me if I overlevel them, which I wouldn't do anyway. I can't do anything in the Pokemon Center here anyway, so why did I go in? But if I do, there is going to be an actual downside to that as well. Let's buy like 10 more of these fuckers, just because if I run into anything that's going to be difficult to capture, I won't have any issues, and some potions, because otherwise people in Discord will lose their shit because I never use items. Which, to be fair, I never use items, and I really, really should. Doesn't somebody in Cherry Grove give you the old rod or something? I know, you're a little child, so you're probably not going to give me the old rod, right? No, you're not. I seem to remember you can get the old rod and already get an encounter. Who are you? This is the guy dude's house. Do you give me the old rod? I'm sorry for abusing the speed button so much in this episode. I'm going to calm down with that a little bit as we go along. Oh, you get a map from him. Okay. That's not going to be too useful. And then you go into your house. So do you give me the old rod when I talk to you in your house? Very doubtful, but you might. I seem to remember you giving me the fishing rod. There's only one house left here, so I suppose it's gotta be... Neither of you is going to... No. Okay, so you can't get the rod in this city yet. By the way, is this Cherry Grove City? Because this really looks more like a town to me. Anyway, Route 30. Our encounter for Route 30 is going to be, well, either a Sentry or a Rhydon, and since we already have a Rhydon, it's going to be a Sentry. Yeah, I'm not going to kill you and get experience from you, because otherwise I'm going to be way too OP. I'm not going to bother with the Apricot, by the way. I know you can get some neat little Pokeballs from them, but I don't really care. I probably should, because some of the legendary Pokemon usually... Legendary Pokemon are fairly big, and as a result fairly heavy, other than like Celebi and Mew. So things like a Heavy Ball, very nice. It's the first episode of a new generation. And we're already getting this shit. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Tien can die and then I have like 30 Pokemon in backup, right? And I even know that I'll be facing a Zapdos, so I can bring like... What can I bring against a Zapdos? Actually, I don't have anything specifically that can counter Zapdos. Zapdos very well, I don't think. I've got electric types, I've got ice types, but none of them have ice moves, and all of them are also water types. And the ice types, not the electric types. There's only like 2 electric water types, so far anyway, in Gen 2. And I always forget that they're Gen 2. The Chinchou and Lantern, I always think that they're Gen 3 for some fucking reason. So youngster Joey, yeah, I would dare say, by the way, that is top percentage of Rattata. Your Rattata is so top percentage, it's actually a legendary Pokemon. And the most upsetting part about this is I've already used Zapdos, Articuno and Moltres, all 3 of them, in a thumbnail. So I can't use Zapdos in a thumbnail again. I'll probably... Have I used Rattata in a thumbnail yet? I might just use Rattata and make it yellow. Is Shiny Rattata yellow? I don't think it is. Shiny Rattata is like... Let's look this up. Right now. I can also just put a picture on screen for you guys, but you can also just look this up with me. While I Google this with my very slow mobile phone device. Shiny Rattata. Okay, I said you were very slow. Okay, so this is our encounter here, Sentred. Oh my god, I can't attack you. I cannot attack you because you'll get obliterated. So I'm just gonna throw a ball at your face and hope that does the trick. Shiny Rattata is, in fact, it's a yellowish kind of color. It's more green, really. It depends on which picture you look at. It really depends on the picture. Pokemon Go seems to be going for a little bit more of like a greenish color. But if you look at its Dream World artwork, it definitely leans a little bit more yellow. So I could do that. Do a yellow Rattata for the thumbnail. Yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to catch it right away. We're going to just, like, go through this. I knew eventually, it's just a Sentret, right? It's just a Sentret. So, we're going to call you, I'm going to call you Larry. I don't know why. I don't need to know why. You're just Larry. Larry the Sentret. Welcome to the team. You are going to probably be replaced very, very soon because you're probably just going to die very soon. But at least now I have something that won't instantly kill every wild Pokemon I come across, which actually, nice change of pace because, well, I am already in love with Tien. I didn't even check if Tien is a dude. It always weirds me out that some very masculine Pokemon can also be female. I mean, it makes sense. I'm not saying that you can't be buff as a female. But it's just, when you see Machoke, your first instinct isn't, yeah, that's a girl. Your first instinct is, yeah, that's a boy. Especially since it's humanoid, and it doesn't have any female features. AKA, it doesn't have boobs. So, I don't know what's going on there. Again, if you're a female human being watching this, and you, like, have very masculine qualities, and you fuck you! You're only level 2, but still, fuck you! And you like those qualities about yourself? You do you. That's perfect. I'm very glad that you do. Also, don't be offended when I say masculine qualities are not something that reminds you of femininity, because that's literally what masculinity and femininity are. And Tien is a female Pokemon, so there we go, the bitch. And then we have a Seadra. Fun fact, the first randomization had a Hoppip, a Mukago, and a Horsey as the potential starter Pokemon. And I would have very much liked a Horsey, and I actually picked the Horsey. But then I ran into the Pokemon Center and saw I didn't have any Pokemon in the box, and I had to re-randomize the entire thing, and now we have Tien. So really, I'm kind of happy that happened, because otherwise I wouldn't have Tien. So, in the first episode, within the first 2 normal trainer battles, which weren't the rival battles, we've run into a Zapdos and a Ho-Oh. I can also just make this, you know what, I'm gonna make it Ho-Oh for the thumbnail, I think. just to signal anybody who has like lost interest or like not been watching anymore. When you see Ho-Oh, you're definitely going to be right about, oh, you're in Johto now. Combine it with a clever title, like top percentage of RATTATA, or just something cliche like into Johto, something stupid like that, and maybe like people will be reinvigorated. And it's Bob! It's level 3 Bob, but it's Bob. It's very much Bob. We're gonna kill Bob. Bob is gonna give us a lot of experience here. So, I'm very sorry for doing that. I hopefully can make up by catching a Bob. And you might be wondering, you just caught, I think it's Larry? Larry the Centrid? Why are you using him or her? I didn't even look at the genders. I'm gonna have to look at genders for naming again. Holy fuck, no, I don't like that. I'm just not going to. Unless I really can't think of a name and the gender is going to help me with a name, I'm just not going to look at the genders of the Pokemon when naming. Just not going to do that. Also to balance out like the little bit of a gender talk and potential like offense I gave to people, and again, if I've given offense to anybody, this is not going to make it better, what I'm about to say, but in my opinion, offense in... I was going to say, did my game just crash? In this kind of context, like, I'm just here rambling, sitting, just talking about random stuff. If you take offense, I just want you to know that it's you taking offense, not me giving offense. And that sounds like a very asshole thing to say, and to a certain extent it is, but that's also kind of the way the world works. Get over yourself and learn to deal with that. This is not a new route, is it? Fuck. I would have liked a Pupitar. I would have liked that Pupitar. And that is not... I mean, I'm saying this after I talk about, like, gender and femininity and masculinity, and that doesn't mean that I don't respect people who, like, have certain feelings towards that kind of thing. It's just when you get offended when somebody just like innocently talks about it, and that doesn't just go for that, right? Especially for other stuff as well. I think we already have one of you. Do we? Let me check. I seem to remember having a Kingler. It doesn't say here that we've had a Kingler or a Krabby, so I'm gonna go ahead and catch this thing. And this goes about anything, right? I mean, and not just for like gender or sexuality or anything like that, just for like things in general. I think the world would be such a better place if people look at being offended from a perspective of taking offense rather than giving offense. Obviously, some people are just like assholes and try to like hurt you and offend you. But honestly, in my experience and in like my life philosophy, if you wouldn't call it that, most of the time when people get offended, the offender didn't mean to offend you, or at least not in such an extent as you feel offended. At which point, is it really like my responsibility to make you feel not offended, or is it your responsibility to like adapt and just get over it? Right? I mean, if I call, if I see somebody that's like, that's gay and I call him a fag, yeah, that's definitely on me. I wouldn't do that, but that's definitely on me, and then I'm offensive. But if I just like, if I make a stupid, fairly innocent gay joke and somebody who's gay gets offended, I kind of feel like that's on them. And you can only name this dude one thing, right? You have to name a Krabby Cookie at all times. I don't know, I feel like that this is the downside of recording versus live streaming. with live streaming, I would have like people to talk to right now, and I could see instant feedback and see how wrong I am. This is a different route. I could have caught that Pupitar, I think. I'm not going to go back and catch the Pupitar now, but I think I could have caught it, which is upsetting. And it's also a really good like moment to end of the episode before I make any more enemies. So thank you so much for watching this first episode of the Johto Pokemon Through the Years portion. If you're offended by anything I said, you're probably not watching this anymore, so I'm very sorry. Except I'm not, because again, that's you taking offense, not me giving it in this case. I've been offensive to people in the past, and probably in the future I will be as well. And in situations where that definitely was on me. And I've also been offended, felt offended in situations where it definitely was also on me and not on the person giving offense in the past. I just think that's learn to like live with that philosophy a little bit more, and I think everybody will be a lot happier as a result. It's about like your life becomes centralized around self-improvement rather than blaming other people for your problems, is pretty much what that's about. So I really do think that it's a really important lesson to take away. Am I the person you should be listening to playing Pokemon on the internet? Probably not, but at least it's some food for thought. So until the next time, bye.